Welcome everyone. Excited to see everyone here today for the BYP Reading, the importance of networking events. My name's Adrienne. I'm the BYP chapter leader for Reading, and I'm joined by Ekua Kant, who will be talking about the importance of networking. I myself can testify to the importance of networking because I met Ekua at a networking event less than a year ago. Um, at It was at Visa, wasn't it, Ekua?
Yeah, it
So
was.
yeah, so that was just like a chance meeting. So we really hit it off, and then here we are doing a webinar less than a year later. So um, and I'm going to introduce Ekua Kant, who is a careers coach and published author. So over to you, Ekua.
Thank you for the warm welcome. So hello everyone. My name is Akua Kant, and I'm a career coach, author, and speaker and trainer. I really love helping mid-level women to build their confidence and to help them to build their own unique version of career success. I also work with organizations to help them build inclusive workplaces, help them to retain diverse talent, and help people to flourish and grow within the organizations. One of the things that I'm most proud of is when I was a full-time employee, I worked on a platform to help people to register to vote. So it's called Register to Vote, and essentially it lets you get on the electoral register so you can vote in any upcoming elections. I think we've got one coming up in London soon, so make sure you vote and let everyone know what your thoughts are on that. The final thing I just want to share before we start is that I'm an author, as Adrienne said, and I wrote my book, Be Your Number One Cheerleader, during lockdown. It's an incredible book that shares my entrepreneurial journey. So I've done tech startups in the past. I shared a bit about how to, launch a tech startup, how to build a growth mindset, how to build your confidence, and how to build, a career, or how to build a startup. The final thing that I want to share with you is make sure that as you're going about your journeys in your career and in life, we all look after our mental health and well-being. And one of the things that I share in the book is around mental health and burnout. I share the story that happened to me, and why we must be really mindful to make sure that we have like balance and we seek to build our career in a healthy way. So that's me. Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you, Ekua. So today we will be talking about networking. So obviously myself and Ekua have introduced ourselves. The next stage will be that Ekua will talk about top tips for networking. After that, we'll have a discussion about networking. So the importance of networking and networking for mid-career as well as early career. Then there's going to be an opportunity to do some online networking, then a Q&A, and then lastly, it's thank you and goodbye. So um, um, so um, as I've gone through the agenda for today, before I continue, I'll tell you a little bit about Javelin. So that's the platform for the BYP network. So you can get lots of advice around careers, and you can look for work on there because there's a jobs board. There's lots of information for people at every stage of their career. So I recommend you obviously go there and have a look around. There's also a page for Reading BYP where you can join and become a member and find out about events like this. And so it is, I recommend it, being a great platform, and you can use it for a variety of things. It could be for research, or it could be just for inspiration and information about all of the events that happen online or offline are on the Javelin website. So it's just under events. And as I kind of previously explained, our agenda was first the introduction for myself and Ekua, and the next part of this presentation would be Ekua just talking about the top tips in terms of networking. So over to Ekua.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my number one tip, and you're going to love this one because you're all here, so I think you already know this one, be in a professional network. So be in a professional network, whether that is, for your industry, tech, legal, education, whatever it is, but also, a network that is enabling you to feel supported in your journey. So it's really important that you're in these networks so that you can build relationships, so that you can hear about job opportunities, so that you can actually potentially find mentors, and you also keep up to date with your industry, but also you can actually volunteer and grow your skills, because being in a network, they have lots of different events that they run. So you may want to basically become a speaker, you may want to help with events, and you may want to kind of just grow your skill sets outside of work. So a story that I'd like to share with you is actually, so I'm in a network called, it's a long one, GTA, so that's Global Tech Advocates, Black Women in Tech. And I started in that network just simply as a member, just going into that organization and really enjoying their events. And then one day, the founder of the network approached me and asked me, did I want to help with events? And first of all, it was something that I wasn't really sure that I wanted to do. And I was kind of a bit afraid, but I said yes. And then, long story short, she asked me after I'd done a bit of work and kind of was supporting the network to become the co-vice chair. So just by chance, by just being enthusiastic and supporting the network as an individual member, that was noticed and opportunities sprang for that. So that's the first tip: being professional networks. The second tip is be curious, ask open questions, and always listen more than you talk. So it's really important that as we are going out there and we're networking, we are really mindful to find out about the other person. Find out about them on both a personal and a professional level. Build that connection. And it doesn't have to be around work all the time. I think that it's good to strike that balance. So I would definitely say it's really helpful to not be afraid to talk about non-work things. I think finding things in common is a really strong thing to help you to build that connection, and also to help you to be reminded of how you met and what you have in common. So that's my second tip. And the third tip is always follow up. So basically, when you go to an event and meet someone, it's really helpful to drop them a line and just say, hey, it was really great to meet you. I enjoyed the event. What's your top takeaway? Things of that nature, just to kind of, sort of solidify that connection. It doesn't have to be anything long or overly complicated. Just a simple, we met at this particular event, why you enjoyed it, and just sharing something that you both experienced, and then from time to time get in touch with them. The final thing that I would like to end with is that networking is a way to build what I call your silent sales force. Now, what is that, you may ask? So that basically is people out there who are rooting for you, people who are out there who think of Cameron, Astrid, Amma, Helen, whoever else is on the call, and they're like, they're a nice person. I really want them to do well. And actually, when something comes across my desk around a job opportunity, or perhaps something that they want to do in terms of a collaboration, or something they're working on, I have them in mind, and I go out there, and when I get opportunities that are not for me but to be for others, I pass them on and share them out. So it's really helpful that when you receive opportunities that aren't for you, that you also share them back out to people that in your network, and you have that mutual give and take with your silent sales force. And that's it. Adrian, I think that we can't hear you. Yeah, I think we can go ahead.
That's brilliant. Okay. It's always the way, isn't it? Yeah, I just muted myself just while you were speaking and I started speaking again. But never mind, I'm back. So in terms of Eka's top tips, really useful, especially the one about listening as well as um, talking. So because I find you learn so much when you listen, and being an active listener myself, you pick up so much information and tips from actually listening to people. And I found when I go to networking events, people tend to really like to give you lots of advice, and always willing to help, and vice versa. So it's nice to be able to listen as well as talk. So it's really useful. And the other tips that you shared would be really useful for networking. And don't be afraid to network. For people that are like myself, introverts, it can be a bit daunting going to a networking event with lots of people. But I would say just try and speak to like maybe 2 or 3 people. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just go there. Yeah, just be open to talking to people, connecting with people. Um, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and it can be like really enjoyable thing to do, and obviously really beneficial for you, no matter what stage your career is. So I suppose that's on to the next section of our webinar. And so, Eka, what would you say the um, benefits are of networking for professionals who are early and mid-career?
Yeah, okay, brilliant. So I think that the benefits of networking are, you're there to build relationships, and relationships with people, are really important. And it's not about immediate gratification, because I think that the thing about networking is it's something that is a long-term endeavor. You're building your network and relationships with people over a long period of time. And it's important to be mindful of that, because sometimes when we have a specific goal in mind with our networking, like finding a job or trying to get a paid opportunity for speaking, or doing our startup or business, or whatever the case may be, sometimes we can be a bit like sort of hurried and rushed. But I would always like to remind you that it is a long-term pursuit. It's something that takes time, that needs nurturing. And it's not about perfection, because everyone is an imperfect human being, and that's great and marvelous. It's just about taking that time to be intentional and investing in building those relationships. So that's one thing that I would say. The second thing that's really powerful about networking is about building people who can refer you, as I said, building your silent sales force, or referrals for job opportunities, or even collaborations, because you might want to collaborate with people and work on different projects, and grow your skills, and do things inside and outside of work, and by knowing people with different skills and talents, you're able to kind of tap into that advice, and that different knowledge and perspective. I think one thing about building a network is getting different perspectives, and not just people from the same backgrounds. It's really important that when you're building a network, you build relationships with people, both who are similar to you, but who are also very different to you, because that gives you a fresh perspective. It gives you access to ideas that you may never have thought about, and it also gives you access to different potential opportunities that you would never get if you stayed solely in a similar sort of kind of like bubble of people. So I think it's really important that you network with a wide range of people from a diverse range of backgrounds. And I know it can sometimes be scary, when you're networking with people who perhaps more established than you, or who are coming from different backgrounds. But the thing to remember here is we're all human, and actually a lot of people are very giving and want to share their advice. And so don't be afraid to do that. And I'd say the final benefit is that you can gain opportunities to collaborate, to grow your skills, and to take your career in different directions. So I think those are the main benefits of networking.
Okay, that's great. In terms of benefits, again, you said obviously you can use networking to kind of benefit you at different stages of your career, obviously early and mid-career. So really, as a person that is leaving school or college or university, or someone that is thinking of pivoting or changing careers, what do you think would the benefit be of networking for people like that?
So I think that the benefit of networking for people like that would be finding a mentor, finding someone who has been in that field for a long time, who's quite established and has got a lot of experience, finding them and learning from them, and being able to kind of like find out their pathway, get tips for you in order for you to build your pathway and to understand, if it's really the right pathway that you want to go on. And similarly, if you're pivoting, to find out if it's the right pivot for you to make. And mentorship is something that's really important when it comes to networking from that perspective, but also potentially if you are someone that is early in the career, also you might be able to find someone to kind of like sponsor and guide you as well. So those are benefits. Adrian, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I can see that obviously a few people have joined since we started at 7 o'clock. So please feel free to use the chat and introduce yourselves, where you're from. There will be a section at the end where you can do some virtual networking. So you'll go into breakout rooms. So I'll let you know just before that's going to happen. And then it's for a period of about 10 minutes. So get to know each other and put the networking tips into practice, and then come back for a Q&A and a thank you and goodbye at the end. Obviously, you've got the event agenda on the screen. So we have gone through the introduction. For those that have just joined, Ekoa is a careers coach and published author. And I am the chapter leader of BYP Reading. And this webinar is about the importance of networking. So we have had a little bit of a discussion about the benefits of networking and networking for early careers. So, Ekoa, if you're mid-career, what do you think the benefits are for networking for people that are in the middle of their career? So not starting out, but again, wanting to develop or wanting to potentially pivot and change completely. So what would you say the benefits are?
I think the benefits for people at mid-career are definitely around opportunities to put themselves out there more visibly. So potentially around speaking on panel events, speaking generally, doing things in networks that they're in, perhaps mentoring or speaking themselves. But I think the real benefits of networking when you're in mid-career is building your network of people in different organizations and organizations where you might want to work in the future. Really being intentional and thinking about where do I want to be in the next 3-5 years. Do I have somewhere in mind? And also getting a feel for if those organizations are really right. And you can do that by networking and finding people that work there. Sounding them out, finding out, hey, how's your journey been with this organization? And would it be potentially a right fit for me in the future? And what are the things that I need to do if I'm really keen and serious about joining this organization in the future? I think that having people that you can also speak to and get advice from, especially in mid-career, in terms of some of the challenges that you might be facing in the workplace, because you might be wanting to go for a promotion, or you might want to take on extra work. Having a great and diverse network gives you an opportunity to get perspective and speak to people and have a sounding boards and create what is called a personal board. So you can get a range of people, different types of people from your network, and go to them to get advice. But not all the same, different kinds of people. And the reason that you put them together is so that you can, when you're facing a particular challenge in the workplace, you can go to them and seek advice and get different ideas as to how you might be able to move forward, or options that you can consider.
Okay, that's great. So we've spoken about networking for obviously people that are beginning their career and networking for mid-careers. So what would you say was a benefit to you of networking? So it could be career-wise or yeah, so related to either like at the start of your career or mid-career. So could you give an example of when you just thought, yes, going to a networking event has been like really useful. I've connected with like the right people to progress my career or change career, depending on kind of what it is you want to get out of it. So can you think of an example or examples of when networking kind of benefited you, Ekwa?
Yeah, so I'd just like to go back to the story which I shared in the beginning, which some of you may not have heard. So I was just saying that I was a member of a group, a Black women in tech group called GTA, Black Women in Tech. And I joined that group because I'm interested in tech. I have a background in tech. So I used to be a project manager doing IT and digital transformation when I was a full-time employee when I worked in the civil service. So I'm quite passionate about women in tech. And having diverse people in tech. So I didn't join that group because I was interested in being in that network. And as I said, I was just, a member, just, going about attending events, sharing about that experience and just being quite enthusiastic. And I was saying before that the founder of that network approached me to help with their events. And at first, I wasn't something I was sure that I wanted to do. And then I said yes. And then a bit later on, I was asked if I could be the co-vice chair of that group for a year, which was really great. And so that also gave me the opportunity to become a leader in that space. And that was something that helped me to develop my skills. It helped me to build my visibility. It helped me to obviously further expand my network. And I think that is an example of when I have used networking to grow my skills and to build my personal brand.
That's brilliant. So you did mention personal brand. I like to talk for a little bit about the importance of a personal brand. It's something that's talked about a lot, but um, the audience may know what that means or not, as the case may be. So what would you describe a personal brand as being, and what's the benefit to you, especially when it comes to obviously progressing in your career or potentially changing career?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say, I guess, in regards to that is, it's really great to do really good work and to be proud of it. But part of building your career and part of building your personal brand is being able to talk about that confidently and to be able to share about your wins and your accomplishments. And I know that it can be quite awkward and it can feel a bit uncomfortable. But that is something that you really have to be mindful of as you build your career, especially as you're mid-level senior professionals. People need to know what you did and how you did it and the impact that you made. And you cannot shy away from sharing those accomplishments. So building your personal brand is really about understanding that you as a professional is a package, and part of the package is sharing about your knowledge, skills, and your experiences on a relevant potential platforms. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, Facebook, whatever, depending on where your net, where your profession kind of sort of hangs out and is kind of like most active. But it's understanding that you need to put yourself out there in terms of your skills, your values and your beliefs, and to present yourself as a professional that has ideas, that is learning, that is growing, and is someone who is seeking to build the network. And that the whole personal brand is about communicating who you are as a person, your skills and experiences, and where you are now, where you want to be, and where you'll be in the future. So I guess it's something that grows and that evolves. It's not something that is static, and you shouldn't worry about it changing, because as you go forward in your career, you may start at one place and you may move into another kind of jobs or profession, and that's perfectly okay. And your personal brand can evolve with you. It can change, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, I was a civil servant. That was what I did for 8 years, and then I became an entrepreneur. So I've changed, you know, what I'm talking about, what my goals are, and what my aspirations are, and my expertise. It's all, and it's not something that I have trashed. It's something that's part of my experience, but it's no longer the focus of my experience. So basically, that's what I would say about building your personal brand.
That's brilliant. Thank you for explaining it, because it is said quite a lot. So you explaining it does make the difference. I know some people may have heard about it, some not. So that was really good of you to obviously give an overview of what a personal brand actually is and the benefits to you. Um, so the next portion of this event is the interactive networking. So there'll be 2 rooms, and networking will be for approximately 10 minutes. We have had the introduction, obviously, with myself and Ekua. You talked about the top tips. We've also discussed the benefits of networking for mid-career and early career. We've done the interactive networking. So this portion of the session, I really would like to open it up to everyone to do a Q&A. So, um, happy for you to put the questions in the chat or on mute and ask myself and Ekua any questions.
Okay, well, while people are thinking about the questions, because sometimes it's hard to think of questions on the spot.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Oh,
I understand.
I think I've seen the question. Do you host any networking events? So I don't personally host any networking events, but I do host a number of different like careers focused webinars. So I host webinars on job hunting and job search. I host a live LinkedIn show called The Secrets of Job Search Success Now on a Friday at lunchtime. I'm doing a webinar that's coming up on LinkedIn, and you know, for busy mid-level and senior professional women who want to leverage LinkedIn without posting every day and want to have confidence to do that. But yeah, I'm in networks, but I don't actually host any networking events myself. But that's something that could come for the future. So watch this space. How about you, Adrian? Obviously, you're the host of BYP Reading, which is amazing. Yeah, what's coming up with you guys?
For BYP Reading, so yeah, so we will have our next event. The date isn't confirmed yet, so it will be either an online event similar to this around a specific topic around careers, or it could be a face-to-face. So I will let everyone know about that. So it will be on LinkedIn. So I will pop my LinkedIn in the chat. So definitely follow me. It will be advertised there. And yeah, so definitely join again. So that's what's happening next. So that event will be happening at the end of March or early April. So obviously because of the Easter holiday,
Yes.
yeah. So make sure I find a date that's kind of convenient for everyone to come along, because I don't want to kind of you know obviously put something where it means that you're going to have to choose between doing things for Easter versus coming to a networking event, or kind of whatever event we do next. But yes, I'll definitely kind of let you know in good time what the next event will be.
Brilliant. I think I can see a couple of questions in the chat. So I can see one that says, could you please recap the networking tips? So yeah, briefly, the top 3 networking tips were joining professional networks, so BYP, others, you know, whether it's tech, legal, whatever profession that you're in, and be an active member, and you know, volunteer, put yourself forward for different opportunities within that networking space. And number 2 was be curious, be open, and ask open questions. and listen more than you talk, so that you build that personal connection with people. And the third was always follow up. And as I was just saying in my group that I was in, following up doesn't have to be hard. It can just be simply, we met at such and such event, what was your top takeaway, or what did you do most about that event? And it's as simple as that. And then just keep in touch from time to time. And then another question I can see in the chat is, what is your view on paid memberships and networks? Have you ever tried them? So yes, I think that paid memberships do have a place, especially if you are looking to build a business. There can be specific paid memberships that can really help you in terms of business development growth, or approaching how to find particular kinds of clients or particular kinds of organizations. But I think with that, you have to do your due diligence and your research and find out about those particular groups, understand what your goals are, and understand that, yes, it is good to invest in yourself and invest in what it is you're seeking to grow and to learn. But just ensuring that you go into with the mindset of you're going to put your all into it, and not feeling that you're sort of in any way not backing yourself when you make the investment. The way that you'll get the best out of paid memberships is to invest with the knowledge of growth, of backing yourself, and being open to learning and to tapping into the expertise of that particular network and the experts that are in that paid membership.
Thank you, Ekua. I echo what Ekua said. In terms of paid membership, I personally would be quite mindful of kind of parting with your money without actually knowing what you get out of it. I have had personal stories of people that have obviously spent money on courses, on professional memberships, potentially with organizations that haven't actually brought them benefits. And the same with courses. So I think do your due diligence, do your research, speak to people that are members, see what they think, and see if it is something that will be beneficial to you at your stage of your career, and obviously be clear what your aims are to actually join this organization, and whether they align with your career goals or what you want to do. Because I would hate for you to kind of like say, yes, I'm going to obviously commit financially to something and there's no benefit for you ultimately what you want to do. And I would hate for you to kind of waste money and also time. So I think it's important to kind of do your research, speak to people that are members already and see what they think, rather than the membership team or the sales team, because they'll just sell you the benefits. And obviously they want you to join, obviously, but yeah, so yeah, do it for the right reasons, and yeah, do your research and ask questions really, because you know what you want to get out of your career, and what benefits that you want out of being a member and networking.
I'm just gonna add to that ask people who are ahead of you in that particular profession, because they may be able to give you advice about membership that they recommend, or membership which they think are essential for you building to a certain level in that particular industry or career path. Because you can get these recommendations from the people who are already been there, done that, instead of just having to kind of like find out for yourself. So definitely ask people, get the recommendations and reviews. But if you have a specific kind of level or a specific kind of intention, then if there are people who are ahead of you that or you can reach out to, and definitely do that, because they will definitely be able to provide you with advice about what paid memberships they recommend and what they have used in their journey.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Do you have any other questions? I've had a look in the chat and I can't see any others. I mean, feel free to unmute. We do have a few more minutes for questions.
So I would say one of the things that's also is helpful and people are sometimes afraid to do, especially on will there be a replay, Adrian?
Yes, there will be. This is being recorded, so yes. So if you would like me to send you a copy of it, just let me know. I'll also pop the BYP email address in the chat, and then just send me an email, and then I'll be able to send it over for you.
Cool. Sorry, what I was just about to say was about you know, if you're let's say newer to LinkedIn, you know, and you are you know, looking for a new role, or you want to find out information about a particular company, don't be afraid to reach out to people that work there, and ask for information for interviews, and to just ask them for 15 minutes to just have a coffee chat, at their convenience, about the journey into that particular company and that career. And it may seem daunting because you don't know them, and you've never met them, but people are most of the time quite happy to help, you know, if you are polite and respectful, you know, so definitely don't be afraid to do that. And similarly, if you meet someone at a networking event actually in person, do also, you know, if you build a connection, feel free to ask them, you know, just for like another meeting, whether it's virtual or face to face, you know, at their convenience, just to talk through some of the things that you want to learn about, get their advice. And the other thing about this is I think that sometimes, especially at the beginning of your career, you may not think you have anything to offer, but everyone always has something to offer. You know, it might be about things that you're reading, things that skills that you have. Always remember to share information which you think would be helpful or beneficial, and that you know, what you know is also of value, and it's good to like ask questions about what people are seeking, so that you can understand how you can be of benefit to them in terms of what they are seeking to do in terms of their career, their business, you know, looking for opportunities. Because actually we all know like loads of other people who we could connect, and you know, help them to leave it on their particular endeavors. So I think there's a question that just went here. Do you do tips of navigating environments, networking events, so where you're the only one and struggling to be seen and heard? So I think that when you are networking in spaces where you're the only one, I think it's about going into it with a confident mindset. You know, thinking that, you know, being the only one, yes, there are some challenges, but actually it's also an opportunity. It's a real opportunity for you to share your perspective. It's an opportunity for you to exchange information. It's an opportunity for you to you know, show that you are present, you are excited to be in the field, and to find like-minded people who are happy to help and support you to you know, grow and to flourish in that particular area. So I think it's going in there with an open mindset, and you know, owning the fact that yes, you might be the only one, but that is not a bad thing, and it's an opportunity for you to, you know, think about how you can be confident in that space, and think about you know, why you want to change that, and do it in a way that allows you to demonstrate you know, what you want to do, and how you are you know, growing in that particular field and in industry.
Well, yeah, that's great. I mean, some great tips that Eka was kind of shared with us. I am scrolling through the chat just to check that I have answered the questions, and obviously Eka has as well. So I think Eka answered the question. So she said, do you host any networking events? Obviously I do, in the sense that I'm chapter lead. So there's always an element of networking. I started less than a year ago. So last year I had 2 in-person events at Reading University. One was about imposter syndrome with Pauline Toussaint and Nisha Brown. So it was quite interactive. It was a discussion about imposter syndrome. So Nisha spoke about imposter syndrome being something that she doesn't actually accept as even a syndrome. So it was a nice debate. And then Pauline Toussaint, who's a psychologist and a coach, was talking about what imposter syndrome is and how it exhibits in people, how you feel and how you respond to things based on it, and how it can ultimately sometimes hold you back and stop you from being the best version of yourself. So it was really good, really interactive, and a few people that have attended today attended that event. So thank you for coming back. The first event at Reading University was actually just an introduction to BYP Reading. And again, there was a lot of networking involved there as well. So we do network quite a lot at BYP Reading. So, and again, I can see your networking in the chat. So that's really good. So thumbs up. And continue to do that. Definitely connect and like talk afterwards, and yeah, and put all the networking tips into practice that we've spoken about. Yeah, so I've had a scroll and I can see there is no other questions in the chat. So seen, heard. I'm sure Echo mentioned about navigating environments where you're the only one and struggling to be seen and heard. So I'll add to that and say that I have only been to events sometimes where maybe I'm the only woman or I'm the youngest or I'm the only woman who is, you know, I'm a woman of color, so you could feel that you are actually yeah, you stand out, or you feel like, oh, could I be the only one here, as you said, struggling to be seen and heard? I would say use that as your superpower, because you have the attention of a lot of people sometimes just because you are the only one, and don't feel it is something to shy away from. Step into it, own it, and just, I would say, just be yourself. You know, everyone has their unique personality, their unique perspective, their unique experience, and definitely, yeah, own it and just be confident and be yourself ultimately, because if you are, then you're relaxed and then you get much more out of the networking, and you can actually come across well because you are confident and you do feel like, yes, I should be here, and yeah, this is the place for me. It does come across. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, yeah, don't see it as a disadvantage, see it as an advantage, because I'm sure if you asked a room of people that are at a networking event, probably the vast majority of them are just like you. They're nervous, they're not sure. You know, it could be their first event, but a lot of people don't exhibit that. They're just thinking it. So internally, they're like really nervous, but maybe outwardly they're very confident, and vice versa. Some people are very quiet, but they are quite sure of themselves, and yeah, they're happy to be there, but they probably don't exhibit that because they're maybe introverts. So you never know what people are thinking or feeling. So just, yeah, just realize that there's a lot of people probably thinking the same thing as you for different reasons. You're not the only one, but yeah, just go and obviously, yeah, enjoy it and just make the most of it. And I would say practice makes perfect as well. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then you get to know people, then you see people at other networking events that you recognize. Or the other thing I would recommend, lastly, is to maybe take someone along with you if you are a bit nervous. So that's quite nice just to have someone there for support, and you can talk to. You can network together. You can separate. So whichever way you want to do. So initially, that would be a way of making you feel more confident when you go to a networking event, rather than you just going on your own. So I know it can be a bit daunting. So yeah, if you go with a friend or family member, it makes it that much easier. And I can see in the chat mention of Javelin, which I did mention initially. So you can access a lot of opportunities, mentorship events and content. Definitely feel free to click on the link and register for Javelin. And also on the website, you will see our Reading BYP page, some information about Reading BYP and what we do, some pictures from past events. And you can also become a member and then know about future events that we do.
Yeah, so I guess the final word that I want to leave you with is always go into a networking event knowing that you are unique and you have something of value to say and to offer, and that, you know, you just don't know how going to events and meeting people, you know, in the future will, you know, bring collaboration opportunities, opportunities for, you know, different stages and different ideas and perspectives in your career. So definitely follow up and, you know, just keep in touch from time to time. And yeah, definitely, you know, keep pushing yourself out there. I know that it's not about perfection. You know, networking is something that is constantly something you get better at over time. And go easy on yourself, but get out there and yeah, be your number one cheerleader, of course. What else would I say?
Okay, yeah, and yeah, thank you as well. Yeah, so before you go, I'd just like to give yeah, a shout out to Femi. You can't see, he's based in Lagos. He's
Thank you,
been helping from
Femi.
BYP Network, ECHOA, obviously, and everyone that's joined, and the BYP Network in general. It's a pleasure to be Reading BYP chapter lead. Of course, you can follow BYP chapters on Instagram and BYP Network on LinkedIn, and you'll find out about all of the events that are happening up and down the country and globally. If you'd like to log in to events like this, our chapters around the world. You can also sign up for the FYI AI app on Play Store or Apple Store, and that'll be a way of kind of interacting with Reading BYP online, like before events and after events. So thank you for coming, and goodbye, and I'll see you soon, and have a nice evening.
And don't forget to use the 3 chats to download the chat and get everyone's LinkedIn. Thanks so much for having me. And please feel free to connect. Love to hear from you.
Great, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.